Hey there, Dave and Ashley here with Marriage Today, and we're going to talk about something that I think is kind of hard for a lot of couples to talk about, but it's one of the biggest questions we get from people online, and it's the topic of masturbation and marriage.
And if I start snickering, it's because I'm still a middle schooler at heart. And so even talking about this is like, I might just blush. But it is an important topic. I mean, really, we should be able to talk openly and freely about every aspect of marriage. And that's why I love what we do at Marriage Today. The whole team at Marriage Today is just creating a safe place for these conversations. And so is masturbation in marriage okay? And I think that it's not just a straightforward answer because it kind of depends on the context, right? I think as we've talked about a lot and written about a lot, within your sex life with your spouse, there is a ton of freedom that God has given you to express, your love for one another in a lot of different ways. And that can be in the marriage bed through self-stimulation, stimulating one another in different ways. I just think there's a ton of freedom there. But really, we're talking about masturbation that's solo, that doesn't include your spouse, and especially when it's dangerous and when it's definitely sinful, is when it's the result of pornography and when you're doing like an act of self-pleasure that doesn't include your spouse at all, and you're focused on other people through porn. And that's the most common use of masturbation inside or outside of marriage. And that's what's so dangerous, because it's training your mind and your body to see sex is really just this very selfish act that doesn't include your spouse at all. And the more you do it, the more of a wedge that's going to grow between the two of you.
Absolutely. And you're basically just trying to meet your own sexual needs. And so you're really kind of pushing your spouse to the side. And, so many times we hear from couples where this is the case, and, maybe it's the wife who feels like her husband doesn't want her anymore. And it's because he's satisfying his own needs through masturbation, usually with pornography. And it's just devastating, because if you're satisfying yourself outside of your marriage bed, then you don't have the longing, to have sex with your spouse. And that's a huge problem, because sex is an important part of marriage. And so we really need to guard ourselves from that and save it for our spouse.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I just think it's another one of those opportunities where it's meant to be together, right? It's meant to be together. So whatever you're doing sexually, it has to be together with your spouse. It has to be exclusive with your spouse. What we talk about a lot, no other people, including virtually through pornography. But as long as it is together with your spouse and there's no one else involved, you have a ton of freedom, right? God doesn't want you to be in a straitjacket with your sex life. He wants you to have incredible freedom within the safety and security of that marriage covenant. And so we talk a lot more about these issues related to sex and all kinds of other issues that help you with your marriage right here on the YouTube channel, where you can subscribe and be the first to know every time a new video comes out. And also on MarriageToday.com, which is the one-stop place to go for all the videos, events, articles, and just keeping you and your spouse growing closer to one another every day. So we'll continue the conversation there. Thanks for watching, guys.